Bad reviews can ruin your business. It doesn't really matter if you're running a dropshipping brand or a regular D2C brand. If someone comes across your ad, they go onto Google, find your name on Trustpilot, and your score is 2.0 or 2.5, they just won't make a purchase. They won't trust you, they'll see all of the bad reviews, and they'll think that you're a scammer that actually doesn't ship the products, or if you ship the products, they don't work. Actually, one of our clients had a similar case where their Trustpilot score was 2.9 and their sales were also suffering because of that. I mean, people were seeing, bad reviews, weren't really happy, and, they just kind of didn't trust them. So then we took over, implemented our system, and we took them to 4.4 score on Trustpilot in just 3 months, allowing them to have a better score, build more trust in the customer's eyes, and then also improve the ad performance because anyone that Googled their name, they saw that the brand is legit, they're having a good product, and then they went on to make a purchase. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can do exactly the same, which is implementing a simple system that will allow you to collect reviews only from satisfied customers. And I know it might sound too good to be true, but this is actually how it works. And I'm gonna show you how to do it because this system is really simple. I mean, we just honestly just pre-ask people an email survey and then we just send review requests to those that are happy, and that's it. But again, I'm gonna break it down in this video, show it how to set up step by step. So just stick through and you'll be able to get positive reviews as well. This is, for just from this client, again, they're at 2.9, which still isn't that bad. And they weren't at 2.9, not because they're a scammer or whatever. It's just they haven't been asking for reviews, and usually people who are not satisfied are more likely to find their profile on Trustpilot and leave a review, rather than, someone who's using the product, they're having a happy life because of it. They won't, on their own, like find the brand name, like, yeah, this is amazing. Like some people will, but usually people that are having negative feedback are more likely to leave a review. So that's why their score was 2.9. But again, we just kind of, took over, implemented the right system, and it's 4.4 right now, and it's gonna keep growing, honestly. So soon you'll probably see that 4.5, 4.6, and so on. Now let's talk about the difference between most brands' approach and then our approach. So what most brands do, and what this brand was doing as well, is, like customer places an order, which is fine. They send the review request, and then they're collecting all of the feedback, whether it's positive or negative. And this approach is very basic. So don't get me wrong, like there's nothing wrong with it because that's how most brands operate. But this approach has quite a lot of problems. First one is being that, wrong timing. I mean, sometimes you might send a review request to people who didn't even get their order yet. What that will do is that will create more support tickets from angry customers. So either you or your, people that work for you, your team members, will have more work that could have been easily avoided. And then also, like, more unhappy customers are more likely to leave a review. So if you're asking someone to leave a review that, they didn't even get the product yet, and then they get the product, but maybe you had some kind of shipping delay, if they leave a review, it's gonna be a very negative one. And overall, bad reviews don't help with anything. And like even, when someone didn't have the best experience with your brand, there's nothing wrong with collecting feedback. It's just like they don't need to, express it to the whole world, like, hey, this product is terrible, they don't buy it. You can just be like, hey, we're sorry you didn't like it. Tell us how we can do better. This also frames it a bit better for the customers. Like maybe if they didn't like the product because shipping was bad, if you ask them for a feedback, maybe sometime in the future they will buy again from you if the product works. I mean, if your product is bad, then obviously nothing will help you, not even this system. But you have a good product, but people are leaving bad reviews for whatever reason, this will help you. And overall, this approach does really more harm than good. So I wouldn't really recommend setting it up. I mean, it's very easy to do it. So I understand why some brands and people are doing it. But our approach is gonna be way better because again, it works and it collects feedback only from happy customers. So this is how our approach works. The first step is the same, like, someone has to place an order so we can even start the whole journey. But then we don't send a review request right away. We wait to fulfill the order. Once it's shipped, we wait a few more days to make sure that the customer got the product and they managed to already use it. And usually we try to time it with the, like shipping time. So like usually you probably know what is your shipping time, but then also we, see like, okay, how long does it take for someone to use the product and see the first results? Because if someone, sees your results of you having your product after first 7 days, this is when you should hit the review request. When they're the most happy with the product, when they're like, it's still new, they're happy with the purchase itself, like they're hyped. And then the product is already getting them the first results, which is something they're gonna remember the most. So that's when you want to time a review. And then, this is what's probably the most important about this whole thing. We don't ask for a review right away. Because normally you would ask everyone like, hey, leave a review on Trustpilot. And if someone's not happy, they're not gonna give you 1 star and you won't be able to avoid it. So what we do instead is we have a simple in-email survey that asks people, hey, let us know what you think about your order, rate us from 1 to 10. And if they click 1, it doesn't get sent to Trustpilot. Like it's only marked in Klaviyo, but still, if they mark you as 1, you send them to a feedback form, which is optional, but it's very good to have a feedback form so you can see where you can improve. Maybe, their communication, maybe, communicating shipping times more, right? You never know really what was bad experience. So you can keep collecting the feedback, but overall, this email itself is great. We use something called NPS, which is Net Promoter Score. And again, like anyone who rates you from 1 to 7, they will be sent to the feedback form to leave feedback and help you improve. But those who rate you 8, 9, or 10 will be sent to the Trustpilot page. Now, this way, you're kind of making sure that anyone who's actually happy and satisfied will leave a review, right? Like if someone clicked 5 in the email, they won't give you a 5-star reviews. And then when I say like 5 out of 10. But if they clicked on 10 and we follow up with a review request, they're very likely to leave a review because the product is working so well for them. So again, they're rating you 1 to 10 in the email. Those who are not happy, they're asked to leave feedback, which is again people who rate you from 1 to 6 or 1 to 7. But those who are happy will be asked to leave a review. In this way, you're collecting review only from satisfied customers, which is gonna lead to high score, whether it's Trustpilot page or Facebook page score, whatever else. Like whenever you're really collecting score, this will help you make sure that you're getting feedback, only from satisfied customers. And of course, someone who's like extremely unsatisfied can go ahead, Google your name, find you on Trustpilot and leave bad review. But by having this process, you're minimizing the amount of people who will be, willing to manually do all of this. Because if someone is not satisfied and you send them a link to your Trustpilot being like, hey, rate us, it's so much easier for them. Like they just click the link, write a bad review, and that's it, right? But if they're not happy, they won't really, probably go. And also, like when they see the email, they are thinking like, okay, I already rated them 1 out of 10, so I showed them, who's the boss, right? Like some people are like this, which again, like regardless, they're like this and that's it. But they are thinking like, okay, I gave the bad feedback, so they know about it, everyone knows about it. But in reality, nobody knows about it, which is kind of good for you. And again, I would still suggest collecting feedback from those who are not satisfied, because this will help you improve, your score essentially. So this is like the theory. Now let me show you how to actually implement it in Klaviyo. So again, just go to your Klaviyo account, and then go to flows, create flow. Let's just make it build your own. You can also call it fulfilled order and then review request, right? This is going to be very, very simple. You click on create flow. For metrics, you go to your metrics, Shopify, fulfilled order, save. And then for the time delay, I can't tell you how long it should be. Fulfilled order is marked whenever you ship the order, in Shopify. So if your shipping time is 5 days, you would make it 5 days. But then if it takes someone, let's say 1 week to use the product and see the results, then you would do 5 days plus 7 days. So you would do time delay of 12 days. Let's just use it as a simple example because again, like why not? And then you just use the drag and drop builder, hit on email. We don't want to do this. We want to track UTM, and for subject line, we can do something like order status update, right? Or something like your help needed, rate your order, anything like that. Like it's still gonna work pretty well. Then for the template, it's gonna be super simple. We actually can make it from scratch. No need to use any pre-made templates because the email itself is super simple to build. So yeah, like you might have some kind of logo, let's just assume it was to your logo, which is fine. Just make sure it's one section, remove all of the social media links, and then for the text, be like, hey, and you could do the first name syntax, which I don't remember by heart, but we can do like this, hey there. Right, so hey there, we hope you are enjoying and you could also do like either syntax or brand names or brand or product name, which again, product name can be a syntax as well. Recent purchase, something like this, or just we're hoping like your. Our goal is to make sure you're 100% satisfied with everything we are doing. And this is like a basic copy. Obviously, you would need to make it more branded. Like this is super bland, so don't get me wrong. I'm just like trying to show you, the purpose of this video. That's why we wanted to ask you a simple question. How would you rate your recent experience? 1 to 10. 1 equals very bad, 10 equals very good. And you can add something like just make sure, just make sure to be honest with us, even if you disliked it for whatever reason, right? And then this is the like first part, right? Like you have some kind of text, which again you would probably, make it more branded, whatnot. And then you go to header bar. Okay, you do this. We don't need any images, logo, links, and buttons only. On mobile, it can be like this. And then you click on add link and you do it 10 times. So you have 10 buttons, right? You have 10 buttons. Then for the, for the text, you would do 1. Now let's do some background. We can do whatever, this would be your branded color. Let's say your branded color is red. You would make it red, right? We can copy the color very, very quickly. You would make it like that. So 1, this would be 2, color the same. And obviously you would do it, the same for every single field. And you probably see where I'm going with this. Like, thing people click in this email is gonna be our, score, quote unquote, right? Which is gonna be telling us, okay, how much they would rate us, and then based on that, we would be sending them to the right landing page. Like, obviously, if they rate you, 1, don't send them to review request. If they rate you 10, make sure that you do it. So again, it's gonna be pretty simple. Just make sure to use your, and you can also play with this a little bit more. Like you can use your branded colors, the branded logo. Really doesn't really matter. I mean, it's very good if it's congruent with your website, so it's like, not way off. But yeah, like ultimately, this is fine. You can play with the size maybe a bit as well. Maybe make it bold like that so it looks even better. And yeah, like probably, you'll just kind of adjust your font and whatnot. But this is the very, very base, thing, right? And then you might be wondering, like, okay, what do I enter into the leak address field? And this is a very good question. So this is the syntax from Klaviyo directly. This is the raw syntax, right? Where you would pretty much just ask someone to leave a review. I mean, you can, like, basically what it does is that upon clicking a button or any field, that would create a custom property in someone's profile. And this is going to be super important to use it, because if you don't use it, it'll be impossible for you to know what score they gave you. So again, this document is going to be linked below this video, so you can very easily copy it. There's a raw syntax that you can use for any other use case, but in this case for NPS 1 to 7, you would use this link. And again, it has like pre-made, Google Forms link, which you can just replace with any other URL. Just make sure you do it in the, in just like small marks, right? But like, again, let's just make it like that for now. You copy the whole thing, and now for the first, score, you just paste the whole thing. For the second score, make sure that you change it from 1 to 2, right? Because this way you're gonna see that someone rated you as 2. Then you change it to 3, and like you keep doing it for, all of the buttons. And you could also paste it in the Google Docs and like do it in the Google Docs and then paste it, as a ready or to go link in Klaviyo. I just prefer doing it this way because I feel like it's faster. And this way, anyone who rates you 1 to 7, you already have this score marked from 1 to 7, right? And then once they click it, they will be sent to your feedback form, which again, you would need to replace with this syntax. But then for anyone who rated you as 8 or above, you copy the other link. And then obviously this link, like in this example, I'm using Trustpilot, where you would need to enter your brand's name or whatever the link is. You can also go one step further to the page that already is kind of like asking them, to select the stars between 1 to 5. Is like one step closer to getting a review from them. But again, you can use this link or any other link, wherever you're collecting your feedback, and you're doing the same thing. So we're just kind of changing up the, the score from 8 to 9 to 10. And this is pretty much it. Like, obviously you could add some other copy, being like, your feedback is appreciated, PS, every month we randomly select 3 people who rate us to win a $10 Amazon gift card. Like, obviously this is optional, but like if you want and can, you can give some kind of incentive for people to leave a review, so we'll just collect more feedback. But I believe if you are doing it for Trustpilot, you can't offer any incentives. So also make sure that you, just kind of adjust it based on where you're collecting the feedback. Again, if it's Trustpilot, don't ask for any or like don't give any incentive, right? It's like, so you're asking on Trustpilot, don't offer any incentive, just make it like that. On mobile, it's also looking not bad. You could probably make it stacked, you know, horizontally, but then again, it's gonna be kind of cluttered if they can very easily misclick. So like, you know, vertical kind of thing is pretty good. So we have the email ready. You know, we can go to preview, and like probably if you click on preview, nothing is gonna happen because this is a placeholder. But if it's a placeholder, then it means that, you know, it was done correctly, right? But the job is not done yet, because what you will need to do is, you know, you also need to add a conditional split and turn off smart sending. I don't know why it's on, but you also need to add conditional split with a follow-up email, because if someone rates you 8, 9, or 10, you want to follow up with them to make sure that you're, you know, getting reviews from these people, right? So what you do, and normally, you know, okay, let me maybe go back to the flow itself. So it's gonna be this one. Normally you would go to properties about someone, and you would look up NPS rating. Now you won't see this if this flow is new, and you won't see this because if you're creating like a, you know, you're trying to work on a new property that has not been creating yet, it's just not gonna show up in the list. It has in this account because I've been already showing it before. But normally you just go to profiles, you know, you could go to your own profile. Then what you would do is you would click on add custom property, NPS, and then you can even copy it from here. So NPS rating, and value doesn't matter. You can make it 9. Value doesn't matter at all for now, right? And then once you do this, you're gonna create the property, and it's gonna show in the, you know, drop down for the flow filter itself. So we would go back to the flow, conditional split, properties about someone, NPS score rating is at least 8. So that's gonna be for people, you know, 8, 9, and 10. So at least 8, save. And then for people who rate you, you know, 8, 9, or 10, this would be review request follow-up, right? For those again who rate you 8, 9, or 10. And then optionally for those who rate you below 8, so 1 through 7, it could be, you know, feedback form follow-up, right? And this is pretty much how we set up the whole system. Again, it's super simple. As you can see, it took me, you know, 18 minutes, including explaining how to do it and how it works. So I'm sure you can do it faster than me. You can also add some kind of time delay, you know, after the initial email. 3 to 7 days is usually gonna be, you know, pretty safe. But yeah, this is pretty much how you do it. If you are looking for someone to like fully manage your email marketing, there's gonna be a link below this video for you, so you can have a chat with me, you know, one-on-one. I can see if we're able to help you. If not, I'm gonna still give you some advice on how to improve your emails. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.